Hey, around the wreck, here he is, Steve Masters, CEO of Sylacauga Parks and Rec. Steve, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us today, and going to be dodging raindrops a little bit today.
Yeah, we were talking when I came in. I like to go and walk through town and go through our parks in the morning, and it is sticky outside, which in Alabama means rain's coming.
Speaking of our parks, where are we with our parks as far as upkeep and what's going on in our parks now?
Our crew's done an amazing job. Chris Blackman, we made him over the parks and maintenance, and we've officially painted and renovated every pavilion that we have now. South Highland was the last one that we were able to go to. We've got it painted. We got an electrician who's fixing to put us some new lights and plugs out there, and we got picnic tables ordered to go out there. So parks are back where they were supposed to be. I can say that. The next thing we got going on in the parks is every one of our playgrounds were replaced within the same 1 or 2 years, 16, 17 years ago.
Wow.
So now we're getting into the playground structures where we can't order parts anymore. And it's just time to go back through and renovate the playgrounds. But, it's grass cutting season, so we're real busy. Baseball's going on. Babe Ruth's first game is today. Grass is growing. Parks are getting renovated. So we stay rolling.
Now, I know Cal Ripken season is starting. I didn't know until yesterday that Little League wasn't having a spring season. That shocked me.
I've been asked what's going on over there. And, in the past when I ask questions, people assume things. Yeah. So I really don't pay any attention whatsoever.
Did y'all get some of the players over there, I guess?
We had to. We ended up with 534 kids this year, so we've got more kids than we've ever had. We don't play Cal Ripken anymore. It's USSSA.
What's the difference?
USSSA is live baseball now, 11 and 12 and 9 and 10. So these kids are learning how to pitch from a stretch and lead off base earlier. The bats are a little different, but besides that, it's youth baseball. That's what I've said for years and years and years. I don't care what brand baseball we play or what stamps on the baseball. Our job's for kids to go out, enjoy the game, and hopefully get better along the way.
So first pitch is today?
First pitch for Babe Ruth is today.
Wow. And what age group is that?
Babe Ruth is 13 through 16. Okay. Babe Ruth changed a couple years ago where they're letting 16-year-olds play now. And we have a really good league. Traditionally we've sent people to state and regionals and even the World Series with our Babe Ruth League. So we're always excited to see how they do.
What is needed to properly operate these parks and these baseball and softball games? I know you need people, but equipment's got to be important too.
Equipment's super important. When I came into Parks and Recreation, and nothing against the people that were before me in athletics, but they were dragging the fields with a burnt up mattress springs.
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. So, it took a while, but when you can finally tell
kidding,
people.
Are you?
No, I'm not kidding whatsoever. So, it took a while to tell people, proper equipment cuts down on manpower. It cuts down on time, it cuts down on manpower. So over a long period of time, we were able to get, a really good infield machine. We've got Toros out there with dump beds to move materials around. I don't know if you've ever seen our lawnmower, but we have a lawnmower out there at the complex that cuts 6.5, 7 foot at a time. It's a wonderful machine. So it used to take 2 people about 4 hours on 0 turns just to cut the complex, and now you're down to about 2.5 hours, 1 person.
So how many parks do we have in our city?
We cut 10 different facilities. That's what all we cut. And it starts all the way at Fairmont and goes all the way to Pinecrest and Moon Park.
Wow. So the Moon Park facility, was that upgraded? Painting or something was done with that?
So Moon Park, long before I started even working at Parks and Rec, they had gone in there and taken down the pavilion and all that stuff, and it finally was converted over to what we call a green space. We have gone out there and cleaned it up and trimmed back the trees and stuff like that and planted grass. So it's what LWCF would qualify as a green space now.
LWCF. What is that?
Very important people. So LWCF is a part of ADECA. I know you've heard of ADECA. And it's the Land and Water Conservation Fund. And several of our parks are under the LWCF stamp because we got grants years and years ago, back when Miss Beth Yates and all them were here, to help upgrade and establish those parks. It's a wonderful thing. It means that, you know, obviously they give you funds originally to build those parks. The issue is now you have to maintain those parks, and that has to be a park forever and ever until Jesus comes back.
I've heard that terminology used with our facility, the swimming pool.
Absolutely.
So talk about that. It's not quite an easy as fix as somebody might think it is.
No, sir. You know, I swim in that pool, and people who know me know that I got there at 6 o'clock every morning. I absolutely love swimming. That pool is 40 years old. It needed some maintenance years and years ago. And in Park and Rec defense, in the capital budget request for 6 years in a row presented to the city council at that time, we told them, we've got to replaster the pool. We got some plumbing issues. We got things like that. And we worked at the mercy of the city council on how they decided to spend their money, you know, years ago. So ultimately, the plaster started peeling off the walls. You know, we've had some major plumbing issues out there, and the pool was shut down.
Right.
Pre-Steve.
What year did the pool shut down? You know?
You know, I've had so much going on since I've been director. It's at least 3, maybe 4 summers ago.
Okay.
I was one of those people, like you'll see on Facebook, why are we shutting the pool down? Why are we shutting the pool down? And obviously I was ignorant to what you need to control a pool and the chemicals and the balance and things like that. And since I got educated, that pool needed to be shut down. You know, it needs a lot of work. We're to the point now where we've hired all these architects. You know, the city brought in the first architects, Chambliss and King, and they did a study of the pool to see if they could find a way to fix it. We hired another group of architects because we didn't like exactly all the things that they said, and they brought in Councilman Hunsaker. If you Google Councilman Hunsaker, you will know they are the authority of swimming pools in the United States. They build the Olympic pools, they build college pools, like this is what these people do. They flew this guy in, he took out there and he literally jumped in the bottom of the pool that we had drained, and he was like, there's no saving this thing. Within 5 minutes, he said that. And I was like, explain. The old gunite's hollow up under it, the plaster's peeling off the wall. We have a skimmer system in our pool. So a skimmer system is what you have at your home pool, if you have a home pool. Anytime you have that amount of square foot of surface area on a commercial pool, you're supposed to have a gutter system. Gutter system allows the pool to skim off the top all the body oils and all the trash and everything before it hits to the floor. And when you're circulating water through your pool, you're supposed to be pulling 65 to 75% of that water off the top of the pool, not the bottom drain. And with a gutter system in that size of a pool, it's not possible. So we had that issue. You know, we've been holding swim meets for years and years and years out at that pool. There's literally a no diving sign in lane 1 over here in the pool because it's only 3.5 to 4 foot deep. So even if we renovated that current swimming pool, we couldn't host swim meets in the lanes that we hosted swim meets in the past. You know, just a lot of things have changed. You know, there's a lot of ADA things that's changed over the last 40 years as far as the building and the swimming pool, and you can fix anything. You know, my daily driver is a 76 Ford Bronco, and I've got enough money in that thing that I could have bought a brand new F-150. But, you know, you have to eventually get to the point in, is it worth fixing the old, or is it time to, let's change this facility and look at something new?
So, just from the outside looking in, from what you're saying, it appears to me that that pool at that location is dead.
Once again, it could be fixed. Like you could spend, I think one of the estimates was 3.5. We saw a $4 million estimate. We looked at building a pool within a pool, leaving the hole there, bringing in stainless steel walls. Like we looked at multiple options trying to keep that location an aquatic facility. you're looking at $3.5 to $4 million. And no matter what you do to that hole in the ground, building all these things, it is what it originally was. It's a 1980-something design pool. It doesn't have zero entry for ADA. It really doesn't have any splash features for kids and things like that. And like I said, without completely digging the thing out and redoing it, we couldn't even host swim meets at that particular pool. So it is an LWCF park. There was money given by ADECA years and years ago.
What does that mean?
So that means that we have to go to ADECA and we have to submit a proposal to them to change this park. Currently, we're not eligible for funding from ADECA whatsoever because we have an LWCF park that is not running and operatable. So that kind of puts a constraints on us and what we can fix in our other parks asking for grant money. So that's been my focus this whole time is we've had city councilmen and all these people coming in. We need a pool, we need a pool, we need to build a new pool. And 100% I want a swimming pool. No matter what we do, we have to fix that park. So we started looking at options for that location. Since it was an active recreation facility, it's not just a park with a park bench out there, right? So we had to look at what kind of opportunities can we put in that location that qualifies it as an outdoor recreational park.
What's some of the options?
Options, the number one in America right now is pickleball. Other options would be outdoor basketball courts, but anything that's sports related. Like I said, you can't put a bench out there and plant trees and call it an active park. It has to be something that encourages movement and activities.
So here we are mid-2024, and we just seem to be, from again the outside looking in, just spinning our wheels, and we've spent a lot of money.
We spent a lot of money.
Spent a lot of taxpayers' money.
A lot of taxpayers' money.
And I don't know if you added it all up, what it might come to, but it might scare me.
It's mind-blowing sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can overanalyze things. You can get so many experts to look at a thing, and at the end of the day, they all pretty much come back with the same thing. It's like, if I was you, I would build a new pool. I wouldn't fix this pool. And then you come to the question, where should the pool go? Well, I mean, we've had, I don't know how many meetings we've had trying to pick a location for a pool. And every time you pick a location, then the CDA wants that for future commercial development, or it has to be zoned this certain way for this and all these other things. And finally, I mean, when they told me that location that they're talking about building a new pool, which was up on that hill on 21, they beat me down, right? So I'm to the point now, hey, fine, whatever. Let's just build a swimming pool. If you think that's the best spot, let's put it there.
You're not for that?
I wasn't for the hill.
Okay.
So, I mean, because
why?
You're knocking the top off a hill to dig a hole for a pool.
Okay.
I'm not as smart as I would like to think I am. I'm a pretty rational guy, though, that you're knocking off the top of a hill to dig a hole. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So now they've moved down below the, I think it's Central Avenue now.
Okay.
And on that part, and I had been told when all this first started, hey, that's a flood zone. You can't build there. Well, turns out it's not. Sylacauga, we like to hear a little bit of information and just elaborate on the rest. It's not a flood zone. It's actually a really good sized property if you think about it. It's a really deep property. If you're driving into town off 21, it's going to introduce you to Sylacauga. You would have that right here. Across the street you got Noble Park. Down the street you got J. Craig. Then you got the high school facilities. You end up with Beth Yates at the end of town. So I really, really like the location once they brought it off the top of the hill. We're excited about it. 3 years, I guess, we've been talking about what it should be, where it should be, all these other things. And finally, we're to the point where the city council can vote very soon to allow these architects to quit drawing boxes on a piece of imaginary property. And let's talk about actual drawings for a future pool.
Steve Masters, CEO of Sylacauga Parks and Rec, joining us this morning. And, I'm not real smart. I'll be the first to admit it. But somewhere along the line, we've got to come together and say, hey, let's do this together. We may not get everything we want, but let's get something to be a positive force for the citizens of Sylacauga that can put a smile on their face. There ain't a lot of smile on people's faces right now.
It's not, and you know that's real upsetting for us. You know, our job is to provide you services and facilities for. You know, we have seniors today that's going to Talladega up there with like 1,500 other seniors, and they're getting together, and you know, we service people that's 3 years old playing t-ball and soccer, and I think our oldest senior right now is 94 years old.
It's a wide range.
We're feeding 91 people a day through Meals on Wheels. If you go in that basketball gym between 12 and 5 o'clock in the evening, there's 40, 50 kids in there playing basketball. And that's what I love to see. You know, I want to see kids to have a place that they feel comfortable to go out there and hang out with their friends and get some exercise and stay active.
Sure.
And it's turned around a lot in the last couple of years. You know, I was really sad to see when they shut down Drew Court's rec center over there. It was active from the time it opened until the time it shut the door. And you know, we had issues with the roof, and the previous director decided, hey, we're going to shut this thing down. The housing authority thought, hey, we can fix this thing. We're going to take it over. They brought in their architects, and they're like, maybe it is really that bad, you know? So, and that's kind of one of the things is historically is like, we will build something, but we won't fund it enough to maintain that building. And I feel like in Parks and Rec, like due to budget constraints, we've always had to be, you know, retroactive. Like we're not planning ahead for future maintenance and stuff like that. We just got this year's budget approved Tuesday, you know, so I hope that going forward that, you know, Parks and the people can realize that we touch probably more people daily than any other department in the city of Sylacauga. And, you know, yes, we need police. Yes, we need fire. Our library is beautiful, all those things. But if you're talking to someone who actively interacts with citizens and the amount of people that we touch a day, I would say our department probably does the most people a day. So hopefully going forward, we can look at that, find better ways to provide facilities that allow us to provide more services for these people. And not only build it and make it beautiful, but let's maintain this thing. Let's have a maintenance plan for this swimming pool.
Before we go, I saw, I think Paul posted on Facebook on his page about Sylacauga Parks and Rec and about the pool and about it could become a pickleball facility. I know pickleball is a hot commodity right now. Do you see that as a possibility?
Absolutely. You know, we get together quarterly with other Parks and Recs in our district. We meet twice a year with other Parks and Recs all over the state of Alabama. Opelika was the first place that I saw that actually put money into pickleball, not just drawing lines on a tennis court. They built pickleball courts. They built 24 covered courts for like $1.5 million. 2 weeks after it opened, they decided to double it and build 24 more.
So they'll come, right?
They're coming. I drove by yesterday. I was over near Spain Park. They just built 8 pickleball courts. Lincoln's got 6 pickleball courts going on now. Alex City's building pickleball courts. And it's, some people keep saying it's a fad, but anything like that that's a lifelong sport, it's hard to argue with it. I mean, it's, you know, we got a group that meets on Tuesdays right now, and I mean, I've driven by and there were 60 people out there waiting on 4 courts. So when you're talking about pickleball, that goes back to the fact that that location where the old swimming pool is has to be an active recreation facility.
And that's the key right there.
That's the key. So that's when we said, okay, you know, pickleball on tennis courts is fine for fun, but it's not really how it's supposed to be done. So we want to turn that over there into, it has 8 pickleball courts that could fit on there, but it's not just pickleball. We don't do anything that's one sport, right? We would have basketball goals out there, maybe an option to put on because all these things would be removable, and now you got a concrete pad.
Before we go this morning, quick talk about Lake Howard. A lot of stuff going on out there too.
Lake Howard's beautiful. Billy's doing an amazing job. We had our first disc golf tournament out there this weekend. We had, I think it was 42
Did you make the cut?
I went out there and started them fellas off, but when you watch them practice, they don't miss, and I do. So Lake Howard, it's still our hidden gem. If you ever get a chance just to drive out there and sit on a bench and look at the water, it's an absolutely beautiful place.
All right, man. Steve, thanks a lot for coming this morning. And hey, Parks and Recreation, if you've got questions, contact them.
Absolutely.
And they'll sit down and talk with you, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Steve Masters, our guest, CEO of Sylacauga Parks and Rec. Got more to do on Daybreak right after this.